the previous episode, we talked about identifying what our needs are. And today we're going to talk about how we define those needs and we can put those needs into action. Now, we've identified the needs, and now we need to be able to express what those needs mean to us, how to define those needs. It's important to be able to define our needs and then express that, because what I am needing and how I experience those things are going to be different from what you maybe how you may define those needs, or how someone else is going to define those needs. So especially when we are in relationships, being able to consider what those needs are and then to express them, because in relationships, I'm thinking about, when you tell me you need this, I'm thinking about how I would want that need to be met. So if someone tells me they need communication, my go-to is how I need communication, or what communication means to me, which may not be what my partner is actually needing for communication. So we want to be able to ask ourselves first, what does this need mean to me? So with this example of communication, what does communication mean? What does communication look like? What does communication look like in a relationship? For myself, when I'm thinking about communication, it means being open to expressing different ideas, that desire to be able to talk. If conversations aren't going well, being able to revisit those conversations. And communication is important for me, that information is voluntarily being shared, that I'm not having to do interrogations or investigate, that the information is openly being shared, voluntarily being shared. Those are some of the components of good, healthy communication for me. And again, I would need to share those things so that when someone is trying to meet my communication need, they have a roadmap or an idea of how to do these things. So we want to be able to define what these things mean to us and then express that definition to someone else. We also want to be considering how we are trying to get these needs met. So I've shared before that our needs, they're not right or wrong or good or bad, but how we are expressing those needs can increase the likelihood of them being met or may decrease the likelihood of them being met. For example, in a relationship, I may need to feel secure. I want to feel secure in my relationship. If the way that I'm looking for my security to be met is I have often and frequent conversation with my spouse, it's important to me that we are able to get in touch with each other, and I want us to be in communication throughout the day. So to be able to text and call, I want us to be able to do that throughout the day. Well, there's a high likelihood that my need for security is not going to be met in that way, because my spouse is working and is not going to have the time and availability to be texting and calling and talking to me all throughout the day. So there's nothing wrong with my need for security, but the demand that I'm placing on it and how it can be met is going to be unreasonable or unrealistic in that need being met. I need to think about what are the ways that that need actually could be met, and that's actually going to feel important and relevant to me. So if my spouse says that, hey, if I'm going to be late, I'll make sure that I'll let you know that I'm going to be coming home late, or when you can expect me, or if there's a change in plan, make sure I let you know those things. Okay, that's a good way for me to feel more secure. You are working, and if for some reason you're not able to come home when you are supposed to be home, I will know that, and I can trust those things. So I can still feel secure within the relationship. So it's not that, again, that the security need is a problem, it's how we're trying to get that need met and coming up with the most effective and realistic ways for these needs to be met. And then we need to know where to get that need met. So again, we can have relationship needs, we have emotional needs, we have spiritual needs, we can have career needs. What's the best place to get those needs met? And then who are the best people to meet those needs? That if I have the need, if I have the need for someone to listen to me, I'm having a tough time, I don't want feedback, I just need to really feel heard right now and listened to, and I call someone who only gives tough love, that person is doing nothing wrong. That person was never going to be able to meet my need. I only give tough love. When you call me, I'm going to let you know how it is. I'm going to give you all the opinions that I have. It wasn't that person's problem or fault. It's my fault, because I went to a person who only gives tough love versus someone who's actually going to listen to me. So we want to identify what our needs are. We need to be able to communicate those needs. And then we also need to know the best place to get those needs fulfilled. That my tough love friend is not going to be the person to go to for someone to listen to me. And there could be a variety of other people that I could turn to who are going to listen to me and better meet that need. And we might be able to spread those needs out. And then there could be other needs that we have where it is very singular to a person, an experience, or an event. That if I have the need for sexual fulfillment in a monogamous relationship, there's going to be ideally one person who's going to meet that need. And if I am searching outside of my relationship to get that sexual fulfillment need met, I need to do some self reflection and to explore what's going on for me that I'm trying to get this need met elsewhere. Because again, the way that I would be trying to get that need met is actually going to be more problematic to the relationship. And likely it's not actually going to meet that need that I have. So that's what we're going to be looking at this week or after this episode, for you to be able to define what your needs are. Ideally, in a relationship, being able to express and communicate those needs to someone else. You're going to think about ways that you tried to get that need met in the past that weren't effective and more effective ways to get that or those needs met. And then looking at the areas of your life and the people in your life, who's going to do the best job in meeting these needs that you have. If you have other ideas for things that are effective in getting your needs met, please feel free to share.